Hello and welcome to the sixth episode in the Direct Advisors Retirement Plan Podcast. My name is Stacy Gregory. I'm a plan advisor with Direct Advisors, and today I want to talk about a very important part of running your retirement plan, and that is staying compliant. As a plan sponsor, you're tasked with all sorts of administrative requirements, things like determining eligibility of participants, providing required notices, depositing employee deferrals on time, and the list goes on. There's good news though, you're not in this alone. Direct Advisors has put together a helpful overview of these requirements to help you stay compliant and successfully navigate the administration of your plan. Before we jump in, I just want to take a moment to address some differences between fiduciary best practices and the administrative best practices that we're going to cover today. A fiduciary exercises discretion and control over management of the plan and disposition of assets. They may also be providing investment advice or simply be named as a fiduciary in the plan document. A fiduciary has many responsibilities, including acting solely in the best interest of participants, prudently carrying out duties, following plan documents, diversifying investments, and ensuring the plan is paying reasonable expenses. But not everyone involved with administration of the plan is considered a fiduciary. If you're not making decisions for the plan or signing documents or providing investment advice, and you're simply assisting with things like submitting payroll files, filing paperwork, or updating deferral change requests with payroll, then you are not considered a fiduciary. And although not a fiduciary, you are still responsible for following administrative best practices and helping the plan stay compliant. So let's take a look at some of those responsibilities. All of the items specific to your plan can be found in your plan's adoption agreement. And if you don't have a copy, Direct Advisors can certainly provide you a copy. Your first responsibility is determining eligibility. Each plan has specific requirements for who's eligible to defer to the retirement plan and who can receive employer contributions. You should be aware if employees need to be a certain age or if they need to be employed for a period of time before becoming eligible. Next up is processing deferral changes for employees. Most plans will allow employees to stop their deferrals at any point in time, but they may limit other changes to specific windows, with changes usually implemented either monthly or quarterly, for example. Next, make sure that you're using correct compensation when updating deferral changes. Some employers allow employees to defer separately from bonuses, for example, while others do not. You should also ensure that your plan is abiding by IRS limits. For 2020, qualified retirement plans limit employee deferrals to $19,500, with anyone over the age of 50 eligible to make a catch-up contribution up to $6,500. Your payroll provider can typically help with instituting these limits. The next one is ensuring that employee deferrals are deposited on time. Depending on your plan size, you may either need to submit deferrals as soon as administratively feasible or within 7 business days. Transmitting dollars to the payroll company in a timely manner helps ensure that employee deferrals can be invested and start growing ASAP. You should also ensure that employer contributions are deposited on time, but these likely have separate requirements from the employee deferrals, so make sure you refer to your plan documents for further information. These next two are applicable to plan fiduciaries, but they're extremely important in the administration of the plan, so I want to take a moment to review them. First is the approval of rollover requests. Plan sponsors should be ensuring that dollars are being rolled from an approved account and that the employee is eligible to make rollovers into the plan. If not, they can deny these rollover requests. Second is the approval or denial of employee distribution requests. Employees may request money through things like an in-service distribution, hardship distribution, loan distribution, or as a terminated employee. And it's the plan sponsor's responsibility to review these requests before submitting for processing. This is a very important step in helping identify fraudulent attempts to withdraw funds. Employers might consider confirming the distribution with the employee and should keep an eye out for suspicious information or signatures. Approving a fraudulent distribution request is the responsibility of the plan sponsor, so doing due diligence upfront is key. Other types of distributions that you'll need to stay on top of include required minimum distributions, or RMDs, involuntary cash outs for those with low account balances, and death payouts. We don't have time to go into great detail here, but other important aspects to administering the plan involve completing testing each year if necessary, filing Form 5500 annually, maintaining a fidelity bond to help protect the plan, updating plan documents as laws change, and completing annual audits if necessary. The last part of plan administration that I want to address involves distributing required disclosures in a timely manner. There are all sorts of disclosures that need to be provided to employees, and each one has a specific time frame for when it needs to be supplied. I'll just touch on some of the key disclosures here. Within 90 days of becoming eligible, new employees should receive a copy of the summary plan description, the fee disclosure and comparative chart, a list of the qualified default investment alternatives, and any necessary forms to be completed for things like enrollment and beneficiary designation. There are also annual notices that need to be provided to all eligible employees. Things like the summary annual report, which needs to be provided within 9 months after the close of the plan year, or 2 months after the Form 5500 filing deadline, if that's later. The fee disclosure notice and comparative chart should be provided within 14 months of the date it was last sent. A safe harbor notice should be sent if it's applicable to your plan, and this details the company's safe harbor contribution and vesting requirements. A qualified default investment alternative notice should be provided within 30 to 90 days before the start of each new plan year. Other notices that may need to be provided include things like a summary of material modification if the plan's making any changes, which needs to be provided within 210 days after the close of the plan year. A fee change notice should be provided if there's a change to the fees, and that's provided 30 to 90 days prior to the change taking effect. The investment fund lineup change notice is provided when investments are added, removed, or replaced, and that's provided 30 to 90 days prior to the change taking effect. And a blackout notice is provided when a plan needs to shut down trading temporarily during something like a move to a new third-party administrator, and that should be provided 30 to 60 days in advance of the blackout. In addition, each employee should also be receiving a quarterly statement, and this is typically provided by your third-party administrator. Juggling all of these requirements are important in helping ensure that your plan stays compliant. If you'd like to review how each of these apply to your plan, an advisor from Direct Advisors can sit down and walk you through your plan's requirements. If you'd like to schedule a time to do this or have additional questions, reach out to the team at Direct Advisors by phone at 518-362-2119 or by email at info@directadvisors.com.